I'm not going to sit here and try to put together this relationship.
They claim justice is blind, but today, in that courtroom rife with 2 decades of heartache, broken vows, and changing allegiances, justice was seeing everything. Kody Brown was at the eye of it all, once the proud head of a family that had defied conventions, now simply a man grasping at a fading legacy. And then, Christine uttered it, 4 words that shattered him, in public, forever. You don't deserve this land. It started weeks ago, when the court summons came, not only for Kody, but for all the wives. Past and present, a stealthy legal ploy, quietly potent. Christine had filed a partition suit, the one you employ when someone won't divide property in good faith. The property, Coyote Pass, the hallowed ground where promises were made beneath open skies. Now the war zone for deception. Kody didn't think it at first. He is bluffing, he grumbled to Robin. But Christine wasn't bluffing. Not this time. She'd arrived with deeds, texts, emails, financial statements, and something much more potent. Resolve Flagstaff was gray and cold by morning of the hearing. The wives came separately. Janelle first, jaw set, face inscrutable. Meri second, handful of papers, lips compressed. Christine walked in last, but she didn't walk in by herself. She brought an attorney, tall, angry, looking, and lugging a red folder labeled Exhibit A, Deed Fraud. Kody came in last, and although he attempted to smile, his eyes flickered like one entering his own execution. The judge arrived exactly at 9 a.m. No greetings, no chit-chat, a strict voice and a keener eye only. This court will now hear case 3407B, Brown versus Brown, partition of Coyote Pass. Kody tensed, his hands tapped impatiently on the table, Robin muttering something that never made it to the mic. Christine remained immobile, unmoving, inscrutable. Her attorney put the red folder on the table, opened it, and without glancing up, pushed the first document toward Christine. A duplicate of the deed to the land, and there it was, Kody's signature. But something else as well, Robin's name, added 3 years later than the original purchase. Christine's attorney stood, unflappable, focused. Your Honor, she started. This document indicates that Mr. Brown made changes in the ownership of Coyote Pass without the agreement of all 4 initial shareholders. This is against the Family Trust Agreement and Arizona co-tenancy law. Kody blinked. Meri leaned forward. Janelle cocked her head, as if to say, now it starts. The judge didn't flinch. He just asked, Mr. Brown, do you deny making changes in the deed? Kody fiddling with his collar. I was counseled. We were in transition as a family. Christine's lawyer didn't bat an eye. You mean when 3 of your wives had departed? Objection sustained. But the jab hit home. Robin broke her silence. We only did it to make taxes easier? The courtroom gasped. The judge raised a hand to quiet the room, then he spoke slowly. Let's be clear. Land ownership is not an emotion of family. It is binding, legal, and verifiable. If this document was altered after the initial agreement, and without everyone's unanimous approval, Mr. Brown, that is potentially a case of civil fraud. Christine's face didn't change, but her grip on the pen in her lap tightened slightly. The red folder was only just getting started. And Kody, he was already sweating. The judge asked for a short recess, 15 minutes. But during that time, Kody never got up. Saturday, there frozen, looking at the floor, reliving every moment that brought him to this point. Christine was calm, didn't sip on water, didn't look at her phone. She simply waited. When court opened back up, Christine's lawyer stood again, this time with a small flash drive in hand. Your Honor, with permission, we'd like to present digital evidence, recorded messages, and written communication between Mr. Brown and the TLC production team concerning the future use of Coyote Pass. Kody's head snapped up. The judge nodded. Proceed. A screen dropped down, the lights dimmed, and then Kody's voice filled the courtroom. The recording was from 3 years ago, a Zoom meeting during the show's hiatus. The producers had asked about land use. Kody spoke confidently. "We're going to keep the land in my name only," he said. "It'll just complicate things if they start making claims." Pause. He chuckled. "They're not going to fight me on it. They never do." A gasp cut through the courtroom like a blade. Meri closed her eyes. Janelle faced Kody, face red. Christine, still motionless, still observing. Then a second clip, and this time, Robin whispering into a mic following off camera action. "I told Kody to just file it without them. He always does what I ask when I am polite." Kody gave her a glare. Robin shook her head in shock. "That wasn't supposed to be taped," she grumbled. Christine's lawyer allowed the moment to hang. Then coolly put a printed transcript on the judge's desk. "Your Honor, this was not mere miscommunication. This was a plan to exclude the other wives from land they contributed to pay for, build, and reside upon. It is our contention that Mr. Brown and Miss Sullivan," she nodded in Robin's direction, "knowingly engaged in dishonest acts." The judge didn't react immediately. He merely took off his glasses and clasped his hands. Then he inquired, "Do you have any additional evidence to corroborate this assertion?" Christine's attorney nodded. "Yes, Your Honor. I have bank transfers, texts, and something even stronger, testimony from the children." Kody's mask had been hidden for so long that it finally cracked. He shook his head. "Number, they're just kids. They don't know what they're doing." Christine's voice boomed out, icy and sharp. "They were your kids until they became inconvenient." Silence. The courtroom had transformed. It wasn't about real estate anymore. It was about power to control, and about what Christine had waited years to tell, under oath to the world. The next witness was called by the clerk. "Mrs. Janelle Brown, come up to the stand." Kody's eyes went wide. He turned in his seat, mouthing something to Robin. Janelle stepped forward with quiet determination. Her heels clicked in the chamber, more loudly than they should have. Not defiant, not theatrical, just resolute. She held up her right hand, took the oath, and sat down. Christine's lawyer didn't waste any time. "Mrs. Brown, you lived on Coyote Pass. You helped pay for it. Did you think in your mind that the land was shared equally among the 4 wives?" Janelle nodded. "Yes, and were you aware that the deed was subsequently changed to leave out all but Mr. Brown and Miss Sullivan?" "I discovered that last year," she replied, her voice firm, "when I requested a copy and he kept stalling me." Kody slouched forward. "You never asked," he shouted. The judge held up a hand. "Mr. Brown, back up." Janelle went on. "He said the land was in transition, that the documents were temporary. But when I questioned him, he diverted each time." The attorney moved closer. "Why do you believe that is?" "Because he didn't want to divide it," Janelle said matter-of-factly. "He wanted control, he wanted to reward Robin, and he wanted the rest of us to just fade away quietly." The room fell silent. Then the lawyer asked, "Do you feel Mr. Brown intentionally left you out of rightful ownership of the property?" "Yes." "And do you feel Christine's allegations today are true?" Janelle glanced over, straight at Christine, then at Kody, and she said, "I do." Kody's face reddened. "You are taking her side," He breathed across the room. Janelle faced the judge again. I am taking the side of what is right. A moment of silence. Then the judge nodded again. Thank you, Mrs. Brown. You are free to go. Janelle disappeared without glancing back. But as she walked by the table, she left something on the lip of Christine's folder. A photograph. It was 5 years old, taken on Coyote Pass 5 years previously. All the wives were present, all the children. Kody was right in the middle, smiling. Below in cursive, we built this together. Don't let him forget that. Christine folded it up neatly and hid it under her palm. Kody looked at it for a great while, but he said nothing. Not yet. The courtroom doors groaned once more as the clerk announced, Mrs. Meri Brown, please come forward. Kody let out a harsh breath, his lips curling into a half smirk. Of all of his wives, Meri had always been the quiet one, the committed one, the one who remained. Until she did not. Meri proceeded to the witness stand slowly, deliberately. She didn't display any emotion, just that of a person who'd waited too long to be heard. She swore, sat down, and moved the mic around. Christine's lawyer stepped forward. Mrs. Brown, are you sure that you were one of the initial buyers of Coyote Pass? Yes, Meri said calmly. I contributed $40,000 of my own funds towards it. And were you ever reimbursed? The attorney nodded, allowing that to sink in. Did Mr. Brown consult you prior to having your name removed from the revised land deed? Meri let out a bitter laugh. Kody hasn't consulted me on anything in more than 5 years. A few individuals in the gallery squirmed. Christine observed intently. Meri, the attorney said gently, why didn't you make your move earlier? Meri sat straight ahead. Because I thought I still meant something to him. I thought if I just kept appearing, he'd realize that I was part of this family, that I'd worked hard for my spot. But this land, it was the final string. And when I saw that he'd excluded me from that one as well, she faltered. I knew it was done. Kody intervened, his tone low, but biting. Meri, this is not about loyalty. This is about Christine poisoning you against me. The judge turned. Mr. Brown, final warning. Meri glared at Kody, her voice changing at once to a louder, more forceful one. No, Kody, this is for you forgetting that I was there before all of them, that I believed in you when nobody else did, that I gave up my dignity, my future, and my sanity to co-create a life with you. And now you wish to act like I never stood on that land. Never part of the dream, shame on you. The room was quiet. Christine dropped her eyes. Robin blinked violently, her mouth compressing. Then, without saying another word, Meri descended from the stand. She marched by Kody without so much as a glance. But as she reached the door to the courtroom, she turned around and said, one more thing. You didn't just cross off our names on a piece of paper. You crossed off the only individuals who ever really believed in you. She marched out. The heavy door thudding shut behind her. And for the first time today, Kody Brown said nothing. Miss Robin Sullivan, come forward. The room shifted. For the first time since the hearing started, Robin appeared shaken. She glanced over at Kody, who gave a slight nod, his silent request for her to hold it together. Robin slowly got up, holding onto her handbag as a shield. Her heels clicked gingerly as she walked to the witness stand. Her lips were pressed together, eyes cast downward. She was sworn in, then raised her gaze, facial expression inscrutable. Christine's lawyer didn't crack a smile. Miss Sullivan, when were you placed on the Coyote Pass deed? 3 years ago, Robin whispered. Who made the change? Kody did. Did you know the other wives were not told of this change? Robin hesitated. I thought he spoke to them. A pause. You assumed? I wasn't attempting to mislead anyone, Robin said, a defensive edge creeping into her voice. We thought it would make things easier. We being you and Mr. Brown? Yes. The lawyer moved closer, voice smooth but firm. Miss Sullivan, did you know that by putting your name on and taking theirs off, the ownership of the property was shifted to where control rested in your and Mr. Brown's hands alone? Robin didn't respond. The quiet extended. Miss Sullivan. I didn't want this, she burst out at last. I just wanted peace. I wanted a future for our children. Kody said it was temporary. The attorney's brow rose. So you acknowledge that you knowingly signed a document that cut out 3 women who occupied that land, made contributions to it financially, and emotionally nurtured it for years. Tears brimmed in Robin's eyes. I didn't know it would lead to this, she murmured. Christine's voice boomed from the gallery. Steady, controlled. You didn't want to know. Robin avoided looking at her. The judge leaned forward, his tone low but stern. Miss Sullivan, do you admit that your conduct, be it intentional or not, led to the legal alienation of Meri, Janelle, and Christine from property in which they had an interest? Robin's lips trembled, her voice wavered. Yes, Kody bashed his hand down on the table. She is only trying to protect our family. The judge struck his gavel. Enough, Mr. Brown. But the harm was done. Christine's lawyer turned from Robin. No more questions. Robin remained stock, still for a moment, frozen, before standing up and moving slowly back to her chair next to Kody. No longer grasping her handbag, no longer holding her head high. The courtroom had heard her truth, and it wasn't the protection Kody had hoped it would be. The courtroom door creaked open once more, this time not a wife, a son. The clerk declared, testimony will now be heard from Gabriel Brown. Kody's stance bristled. Gabriel entered with quiet confidence. Older now taller, the young baby face from TLC's heyday was no more. Before the judge was a man shaped by silence, distance, and betrayal. He swore his oath, sat down, and gazed straight at his father. Mr. Brown, the judge started. You realize you are here of your own accord to testify regarding the land and what you know about its ownership. Gabriel nodded. Christine's lawyer rose. Gabriel, when did you first become aware that your mother and the other wives were no longer included on the Coyote Pass deed? I learned about it when Mom gave me a copy last year, he said. She was crying, not bitter, not mad, just shocked. Did you ever hear your father talk about leaving your mother out of the property? Gabriel paused. There was a dinner one time. Just us. I asked him about the land, he said. It is mine now. They gave it up the moment they walked away. The courtroom responded silently. And did you think that was true? The lawyer asked. No, Gabriel stated unequivocally. They didn't walk away. He pushed them out slowly over years. Kody spoke, his voice slicing. That is not what occurred, son. Gabriel cut in. Stop calling me that. Kody's lips dropped slightly ajar. Silence. Gabriel spoke on, his tone tight. I saw you become somebody different. You quit coming by, quit showing concern. The land took priority over the people who constructed that life with you. Christine's hands were tightly clasped. Janelle's jaw was clenched. Robin glanced away. And what do you want this court to hear? The attorney asked. Gabriel looked at the judge, then across the room. I want the court to know that Coyote Pass isn't a piece of dirt. It's not a prize. It was a dream, until he turned it into a weapon, and I'm not here to take sides. I'm here because someone had to tell the truth. The judge nodded. You may step down. Gabriel walked past Kody without a glance. And Kody, he seemed smaller, not angry, not even defensive, just vulnerable. But the kids weren't finished yet. The court summoned the next witness. Savannah. Savannah Brown walked up to the stand, as if she was burdened by something invisible. She wasn't boisterous, wasn't flashy, just silent fortitude wrapped in years of being ignored. Kody's gaze softened when he saw her. "Savvy," he whispered, but she didn't glance at him. She swore in, sat down, and fiddled with the microphone. Christine's lawyer leaned forward and gave her a warm nod. "Savannah, please describe your emotional state when you discovered your mother no longer had any interest in Coyote Pass." Savannah paused, then spoke. "I wasn't surprised." The courtroom fell silent. "I was hurt, but not surprised," she went on, "because I'd already seen him forget us." Kody shook his head. "That is not true." The judge shot him a warning look. Savannah shifted, meeting the eyes of her father. "You used to stop coming, Dad. Holidays, school plays, birthdays. It was always something came up, but it was always the same something. Them her." She didn't gesture toward Robin. She didn't have to. Christine looked away. Savannah went on. "You told me about the land and you said, 'That is grown up business. Don't worry about it.' But I was worried because I saw what it meant to Mom. That land was her hope, her sacrifice." The attorney nodded. "What would you like the judge to understand, Savannah?" She hesitated, eyes intense. "That you don't take a dream and then label it paperwork." Even the court reporter looked up. The judge leaned back. Contemplative, Kody's shoulders fell just a little. "You may be seated," the judge said softly. Savannah stood up, spun around, and moved away from her father. But almost as soon as she reached the door of the courtroom, she halted, and without looking back, she spoke. "You don't deserve this land, Dad, not because you didn't pay for it, but because you forgot who helped you build it." The door crashed shut behind her like thunder, and in that silence, Christine finally breathed the breath she'd been holding for decades. The judge didn't say a word for almost a minute. The courtroom was silent as a tomb. Every head turned to him. Even Kody didn't have the nerve to move. Finally, the judge cleared his throat again. "This case was brought before me as one about land, but it has become apparent. It is about so much more than plottage and deeds." He leaned forward slightly. "It is about trust, about betrayal, and about a long-established pattern of manipulation, some legal, some emotional." Kody shifted uncomfortably in his chair, folding his hands tightly together. Robin sat frozen beside him, her eyes shiny but unflinching. The judge looked at Christine's attorney. "Proceed with the financial disclosures." She stood and placed down a thick folder. "This, Your Honor, is a complete financial analysis of all transactions on Coyote Pass during the last 5 years. There are unauthorized transfers, expenditures labeled as development costs, but actually personal, and most significantly." She drew out a page of the stack. A $275,000 loan secured against the land, signed only by Mr. Brown and Miss Sullivan. Gasps rang out. Meri winced in plain sight. Janelle leaned forward. Christine did not stir, but her jaw hardened, stone-sharp. The judge's eyebrows went up. "A loan? Yes, Your Honor." Without telling the co-owners, the money was then spent, in part, to fix up Miss Sullivan's present home. Robin's mouth opened, then closed. Kody finally spoke up. "It was all for the family." "Which family?" The judge cut him off. "The family on the deed, or the one you were hoping would just go away quietly?" A pause, long and silent. Kody lowered his eyes, the judge addressed the courtroom. I am prepared to issue a provisional ruling pending final review of all financial documentation. Christine's lawyer stepped back. The room held its breath. The judge's tone was crisp, unyielding. Effective today, the deed to Coyote Pass is frozen. No sales, transfers, or changes can be made until a comprehensive forensic audit is finalized. Kody's jaw fell. The judge went on.